This is the Hyundai Ioniq 6. It's a brand new electric saloon car and it's an alternative to the BMW i4 and the Tesla Model 3. It's also one of the coolest electric cars you'll ever see in your life. Well, this year anyway. In this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the new Hyundai because I'm Matt Watson and you're watching Carwow. Buy, sell,
Carwow.
Hyundai is onto an absolute winner when it comes to car design at the moment. Just take the Ioniq 5. It isn't just one of the best looking EVs on sale, it's one of the best looking SUVs, period. Although it's not actually really an SUV. I don't know what it is, it's like a fat hatchback, isn't it? Anyway, it looks good. There is a car that looks better than it though, and that's the new Ioniq 6. It's made all other electric saloon cars look downright dull. It's even more amazing when you think that just 10 years ago, Hyundai was making cars like this. Not exactly memorable, is it? So how has Hyundai managed to pull off this amazing U-turn? Well, it all started with concept cars. Concept cars aren't really cars at all. They're designed to turn heads at motor shows and maybe take over your Instagram feed for a day. If you get really lucky, you might be able to drive some of these cars in a video game, but driving a concept car in real life? Nah, no one gets to do that. Apart from us journalists sometimes, and then when you do drive them, they can only do something like 5 miles an hour before they fall to bits. Most car makers say that concept cars tell you what their future production cars will look like, but it doesn't always work this way. Just check out the Mercedes EQS Vision concept. It looks amazing, especially with that high definition light up grille and ultra thin headlights, but the production car ended up like a half melted computer mouse. Sorry Mercedes, the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Unlike Mercedes though, Hyundai decided to double down and make production cars that look exactly like the concept cars. It started with this. No, that isn't an Ioniq 5. It's actually a concept called the 45 EV. It came out in 2019. That's 2 years before the Ioniq 5 arrived in 2021. They look almost exactly the same, right? They have the same headlights, the same silhouette, and even the same door creases. You can even get the production car with alloy wheels that look just like the ones on the 45 EV. Anyway, this wasn't just a flash in the pan for Hyundai. It's done it again with the Ioniq 6. It looks just like the cool Prophecy concept from early 2020. Alright, so it's not quite as low or as long as the Prophecy, but the sleek roofline and simple curves down the side are almost exactly the same. And so are the brake lights that are made up of loads of individual pixels. These can be lit up independently, so you can have all sorts of scrolling animations playing across the boot lid. And the spoiler has its own built-in LEDs too. Although I don't know why low-flying aircraft need to know when you're braking. That seems a little excessive. There are more pixels on the rear bumper reflectors and in the daytime running lights. Even the covers for the rear-facing cameras have an embossed pixel design. Yes, that's right. Like all futuristic electric cars, the Ioniq 6 comes with cameras instead of door mirrors. I much prefer ordinary mirrors, but at least Hyundai has fitted some big screens for these cameras on the inside, so they should be much easier to use than the smaller weird shaped displays you get in something like an Audi e-tron. And this brings me on to the new Ioniq 6's interior. You see, while the outside looks like the Prophecy concept, the interior is very different. For starters, the Prophecy didn't even have a steering wheel. You controlled it using joysticks on the door and center console. That's even more ridiculous than the Tesla yoke. So it's a good thing that the Ioniq 6 comes with a normal steering wheel. It also has a fairly normal infotainment system as well. Instead of the Prophecy concept's full-width letterbox display, you get a dual screen system just like in the Ioniq 5. This means there are two 12-inch screens running Hyundai's latest infotainment software, and the rest of the dash looks pretty similar to the Ioniq 5 as well. The only real difference is that the new 6 has a fitted center console instead of a sliding one. In fact, if you want to check out my full in-depth review of the Ioniq 5, then click on the pop-out banner in the top right-hand corner of the screen or follow the link in the description below. Anyway, back to the Ioniq 6 because it comes with a few new features you can't get on the Ioniq 5. You see, you'll be able to get it with carpets made from old fishing nets, seat fabric that's been formed from recycled plastic, and trim bits painted using reused vegetable oil. There are plenty more differences on top of this, but you'll need to break out a tape measure to notice them. You see, the Ioniq 6's wheelbase, which is the distance between its front and rear wheels, is 5 centimeters shorter than the distance in the Ioniq 5, and its roofline is also 11 centimeters lower. It's not a small car though, it's still 7 centimeters longer than a BMW 4 Series Grand Coupe, and about 5 centimeters taller. Hyundai hasn't confirmed any more technical details about the Ioniq 6, but it has said it uses the same E-GMP chassis technology. Now, unless you're a real Hyundai anorak, you'll have no idea what that means, but basically E-GMP stands for Electric Global Modular Platform. Yes. Anyway, what this means is that the Ioniq 6 will probably share loads of parts with forthcoming Hyundai electric cars, including batteries and motors that you can already get in the Ioniq 5. So you'll probably get a 58 kilowatt-hour battery in the entry-level Ioniq 6 and a bigger 77 kilowatt-hour battery in the higher spec versions. And you'll be able to juice up the Ioniq 6 using the same 350 kilowatt fast chargers as you can the Ioniq 5. And these can recharge that car's battery from 10% to 80% full in around 20 minutes, which is impressive. You'll get to choose from single motor versions, which will have the most range, and there'll be a dual motor version if you want a bit more performance. So how much range and how much performance are we talking exactly? Well, a two-wheel drive Ioniq 5 with the bigger battery has around 300 miles of claimed range. The Ioniq 6 is slightly smaller and a bit more aerodynamic than that car, so it should go a bit further on a single charge. I reckon it'll have between 325 and 350 miles of claimed range, which is a bit less than the 374 miles of claimed range you get in a Tesla Model 3 long range. Now you'll notice that I'm saying claimed range because the reality can be quite different. In fact, if you want to see how far I managed to go on a full charge in a Tesla Model 3 and a bunch of other electric cars when I drove them until they ran out of electricity and conked out, click on the pop-out banner in the top right hand corner of the screen or follow the link in the description below. Now the new Ioniq 6 won't be quite as quick as a Tesla Model 3, well, not entry-level versions of the Hyundai anyway. If it follows the same pattern as Ioniq 5, the range will kick off with a 170 horsepower electric motor, which will be capable of propelling the car from 0 to 60 miles an hour in around 8 seconds. Go for a dual motor version and the Ioniq 6 will have a total of around 235 horsepower, and that model will be able to do 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds. 77 kilowatt hour versions with a single 218 horsepower motor should hit 60 miles an hour from a standstill in around 7 seconds. But there should also be a quicker dual motor version with the same battery that will produce around 306 horsepower combined. Now that car should do 0 to 60 in less than 5 seconds. That's about a second quicker than a Hyundai i30N hot hatch, but it's quite a bit slower than a Tesla Model 3 long range. That car will do 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. Now Hyundai might have a trick up its sleeve thanks to its sister company Kia. Kia's just launched a GT version of its EV6. This has two high performance motors that make a combined 585 horsepower. That's 75 horsepower more than you get in a BMW M3 competition. And that's a proper high performance car. All this means that the EV6 GT will do 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 3.5 seconds. But why does this matter? Well, Hyundai has been teasing a fast N version of the Ioniq 5. It hasn't confirmed any details just yet, but you can bet it uses the same motors as that rapid Kia EV6 GT. And what's the next logical step after a fast electric SUV? Yep, a fast electric saloon like the Ioniq 6N. Given the fact that the Ioniq 6 is smaller, lower and lighter than the Kia EV6, it should end up being even quicker. That should mean it will easily beat a BMW i4 M50 from 0 to 60, because that car takes 3.9 seconds. And it could even end up being quicker than the Tesla Model 3 performance, which does 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3.1 seconds. But how much is all this going to cost? Well, Hyundai hasn't confirmed any prices for the new Ioniq 6 just yet, but if it comes with the same motor and battery options as the Ioniq 5, then it should end up costing about the same. And that means you'll probably be able to get a single motor car with a smaller 58 kilowatt hour battery for around £40,000. Top specification cars with a 77 kilowatt hour battery and dual motors will probably set you back close to £50,000, and you'll need to set aside more than £60,000 if you fancy a high performance N-spec car with more than 500 horsepower. That's if it ever goes into production, which I think it will. I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you did, please give it a like. If you click on those windows there, you can watch some more videos. And if you click on that box there, you can go to CarWow to see how much money you can save on your next car. Thanks for watching.